There we go. Okay. All right, so it says we're on. Looks like it's okay.
We're on.
And it takes a couple minutes for people to get in here.
That's right, to find out where he is.
Louie the cat might join us.
You just might. I got Pringles, Louie.
Can I have a sip of whatever you have there?
Yes.
And a Pringle also?
Which one? You want the beer or do you want the
The pop.
the pop?
The special grown-up
The root
pop
beer or the
in
pop?
the can.
Oh, the grown-up.
The
The
special
root beer.
grown-up pop in a can.
There's a little bit left there.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Miss Connie and Neil are the first ones here. Wow.
You want more?
Just one more, because we
Take 'em.
gotta.
Yeah.
I have to talk, and these are very.
Snack toys.
These are very crunchy, and I have to do some talking.
You gonna eat them or you want me to?
Just yeah, you can
Okay.
have those.
Then I will.
Ooh, those are good.
They are good.
Mookie Bobby's here. Albert's here. Mr. John is here. Drogger's here.
Oh,
SB Cruiser 2 is here.
noise.
Leo Smith is here. Awesome.
The gang's all here.
Randall says, good evening to my favorite couple of mayhem.
Randall, how's
Hey
it
there,
going?
Randall.
I like Randall.
Toy Painter 1 is here. Dreamin's here. Awesome.
He made us. Randall has made some really nice graphics for us.
He has. We do appreciate all the cool stuff Randall's done.
And one day, if we ever become rich
wait.
and famous,
There's yeah.
what?
One day when what?
I said one day if we ever get this off the ground and make lots of money off it, don't worry. We know who our crew's going to be.
Yes. One day.
We're going to pay you for it.
One day.
That
one
would be
day.
nice.
Oh, and Seth Martin did the cool like outro song.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
That
John
would be the
Biggins
thing. I
is
mean,
here.
You know, don't have to, be rich from it, but it would be nice to make a living,
Yeah. Jack Gray says, happy birthday, Grim.
Thank you, Jack.
Aw.
And thanks again, Greg, our snack master general out there in Parma, for saving the night.
Louie, one of our crypt kitties, is
What's
off.
in there?
There's a little metal
Get it out of there, because
thingy
he's driving
in
me
there.
nuts. It's very
Well,
distracting.
he's making noise because he wants
So,
our attention.
that's okay. Stop, Lou. He can jump up on my lap.
Here, Lou, no.
He can.
He wants to run and play, and we're not doing that.
We can't do that right now.
No, we're not doing that.
Just give us a little bit, Lou. We'll be out and we'll play later, okay?
Yeah.
All right, you let me know. Give me the high sign when you're ready for me to start the show.
Okay, let's start the show.
Okay. Hey, what's buzzing, cousins? I'm Grim Gordy.
And I'm Janet DeGay.
And you're tuned into another episode of
The Mummy and the Monkeys Hairy Scary
Hangover. Ooh.
This is our after show where
Yeah.
we just kind of hang out and chat and we talk about movies or whatever topic we're talking about.
It's
and
the overflow.
you guys can chime in and we'll read your comments, and it's going to be a little more interactive than the other interactive show.
Right, it's more laid back, we're just kind of shooting the breeze, as it were, flapping our gums.
Yes. And it's a cold night here in Northeast Ohio, so hopefully you guys are just hanging out, keeping warm
Yeah.
wherever you are. I know a lot of places in the world right now, it's wintertime, it's cold.
It's funny because, I don't know, not that long ago, Friday nights were designated for going out and partying out in the, at the clubs and all that kind of stuff for me. Like, that's what my week was all aimed for, right?
When you were a young ape.
Well, not that much younger. But yeah, Friday nights were sacred, Friday and Saturday. I mean, that was like the time to get nuts.
Now he's
And,
playing with the Audrey Jr. over there.
Anything to get our attention, right?
Yeah,
hey, Lou.
he's trying to get our attention. Louie, come here.
But
Come on, buddy. Come on. You can play
but the
over
good
here.
thing is
Yes.
this is the next best thing to me. I look forward now to hanging out with all of you out there on a Friday night, and I really, sincerely mean that. I mean, it's like, to me, this is just as much fun as going out and dancing and, and living it up and do whatever. It's like, it's a different pace, but it's enjoyable and I love it.
It's enjoyable, and you don't have to worry about driving anywhere.
Nope, I can drink as much juice as I want. I'm good.
Root beers
Yeah.
and soda pops.
Even if that wasn't a factor, I'm out there running around, spending all my money, and doing stupid stuff, But it was fun though. I did have a good time. I wouldn't complain about anything like that. But my point is, is that hanging out on a Friday night with all these lovely people out there, it's just as cool for me.
Yes. Very cool.
I think some of them might be out there. We heard some kids were dancing at least the last on our. You know.
Oh yeah, they were watching and they were dancing around, so that's fun.
So there's that. I mean,
Yeah.
someone's out there dancing.
Well, and we, maybe Grim and I, we could go out sometime. And
Yes, but I'm talking about our show right now.
Yes, I know
about
you
how
are.
Friday nights were a different thing for me. Now I look forward to doing this. We've created a thing,
Yes.
We've created a monster. Hopefully it turns into a monster. But
Okay, so the topic for tonight is we were going to talk about some stuff that we've watched recently. Sorry, Louis, there you go. And he's down by my feet, like trying to get into things and get my attention.
you know those made-up words, like people come up with? They're like a combination of words. Like I came up with one a long time ago. The refuse in your automobile is called garbage.
Garbage?
Garbage.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe, like if I was going to say what's on the agenda, maybe that's another word. Like, if you repeat the same thing over, the same things you do over, it could be an agenda.
Agenda?
Yeah, agenda instead of an agenda.
Now
'Cause
he's
again,
scratching my tights.
you ever hear that? Every year, I forget who does it, maybe Webster or something, but they'll take one of these words people make up and do things like that. But
So what does that have to...
agenda. I was just thinking, what's on the agenda? I like to mispronounce words on purpose, but
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
But
it's like a
then-
new thing.
I was just trying to make it sound different, but then I thought, hey, that could be one of those mashed up words, again, and agenda. And the definition would be a like an itinerary that is repetitious. An agenda.
Okay. Well, our agenda right now is to discuss...
Well, it won't be an agenda, it'll be an agenda.
Our agenda right now is to discuss movies and shows that we've seen recently.
Correctamundo.
And Louis keeps distracting us.
That's okay. We'll just ignore him. Ignore the Lou.
He gets noisy. He'll probably knock something over to get our
That's
attention.
okay. And it's working on you. You're easily distracted. Focus on this.
I am.
All right. So what's on the agenda?
Okay. So let's see. So we've watched some. There were a couple things on Amazon Prime that were kind of cool.
Yeah. Byron, shut the door. Yeah.
Right now.
Well,
Okay.
maybe if you don't want him coming back
Well,
in.
he'll just pull out the door.
All
then.
right, forget it. Go ahead.
Okay. So we watched a.
W.C.
I guess
Fields, don't work with kids and animals. Go ahead.
pretty much, and he was right.
He was right. Yep.
He scratched my leg. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. So we watched a show that was really interesting called Three Pines. It was a detective show.
Yes.
And it had a horror element because it had, like, murder and
Well,
like, kinda
suspense.
suspense.
It wasn't horror.
Yeah. No, it's like a crime, like, whodunit type thing.
And,
But,
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Dr. Octopus was in it. He was the lead detective.
oh, yes, that one actor. What's his name? I can't think of his name
Someone
right
out
now.
there, I don't know. I can't
But
think of
he
it.
played Doc Ock in one of the Spider-Man
Not
movies.
in this show.
Yes, not on
But
the show.
all I was waiting for was those tentacles to come out and, mess people up,
He plays a detective in the show Three Pines. It's a short series. I hope they make more because I was really liking
There was
it.
about 8 episodes.
Yeah, about 8 episodes, and it ended kind of like on a cliffhanger.
Sure, yeah.
Because you're like, what's going to happen next?
And I'm sure they could explain it either way, the way they ended it, but
Here's hoping they make more.
it would be cool to see more of it.
And what's cool is, and you don't see that too much with...
Anyone say his name in the chat? Frank something or...
Alfred Molina?
Molina, yeah. It's not
Says Tim Bennett.
Not Otto Octavius. That's Dr.
Thank you, Tim. Okay,
Yeah.
so Alfred Molina.
Molina.
Yes, he plays the detective. He works. So this takes place in like the Quebec area of Canada,
Or Quebec,
and there's
yeah.
a small little community that's called Three Pines. It's this weird little quirky kind of country town. Has a lot of weird quirky people living in it.
But when you come to find out, without any spoilers, that a lot of the people, the townsies, the town folk that live there, kind of like Florida, they all went there to start over. A lot of them
to escape something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And they did an interesting thing where, and again, it's not giving anything away because it's just the way the show's structured. The core cast is always suspect, but it's all you'll get the little thing that they do, and they do like every episode or a storyline is 2 episodes long. So you know what I mean. They start at 1 hour, and then the next episode it concludes.
But then there's one really long. There's
Yes.
a regular
A mystery
like
running through the whole thing.
a mystery running through the whole thing. So
like a subplot.
So there's like always 2 or 3 mysteries or things he's investigating at the same time.
Right.
And it's kind of cool, like how they put it all together and pace it. Yeah. So I thought it was really good. I like how sometimes they cut back and forth from French to English because it is in that area where a lot of people speak French.
Yeah.
But it's got the subtitles so you can easily figure it out. And usually it's just like a couple sentences and then they'll cut back to English.
Yeah, and my only criticism, and I know what they're doing, because if you read novels and you read books, I mean, the writers have to describe everything, right? They'll go, and they usually try to do things so they're very colorful, the characters, like they have quirky things, and I don't know. So, to me, some movies do it really well, and in some movies and or TV shows, it's obvious. I don't know how to explain it other than that. Like, I don't know, like, I go to something like, to me, as a classic, it's a movie, but it's just the rules still apply, because there's no difference between a movie, like how you cast and write a movie, as opposed to casting and writing a TV series. It all has to be sort of, whatever you're going for as far as the believability. But, like Goodfellas, that movie is, the characterization, everybody, they're a little bit exaggerated, but there are people out there that are just that wacky. But I love the character. That movie is like one of the best movies that has the best characterization in it. Forget it's a mob movie. It doesn't matter what the genre is, but it's crafted well.
So you're saying that Three Pines is crafted well, like those kind of movies you were just mentioning?
No, it's different. No? I enjoyed both. But
I'm trying to follow you here.
So although I enjoyed Three Pines, I thought it was a little bit over the top, but maybe that's what they were going for. I haven't read the books. They're based on the books.
Okay, I never read the books either.
So maybe the characters are that over the top.
I'm almost sensing, what's that other, we mentioned it was another show, Twin Peaks. A little bit of that kind of vibe, like a weird, quirky kind of vibe.
But there's a good show. Well, that show, that's a David Lynch series. And that just, I mean, going in that this is going to be bizarre. And it totally is. I mean, the perfect casting in that show. The first go-around of Twin Peaks is amazing television. And that's like, movie quality stuff right there, but in long form. And that's David Lynch, doing. I mean, and you don't see that often in television, because television usually stuff used to be watered down, up until maybe that point. But someone like him, he set the bar a little higher for everybody to aspire. And again, it doesn't matter. The genre doesn't matter. It doesn't. We're not apples and apples. We're talking about just whatever you're trying to do, whether it's comedy, horror, suspense, whatever. And it's all going to be based on people's sensibilities, because we all know there's some people love things that you don't even understand why they do.
Right.
A good example of that is Psycho Gorman.
Okay, anyway, we're talking about Twin Pines, or Three Pines, and then you were also talking about Twin Peaks a little bit.
Yeah, but
let's not get too,
But I was going to go into something else, because,
okay,
give me a second, it's something we haven't watched yet.
And then when you're done with your thoughts, there's a bunch of stuff to read.
But a friend of ours, Dustin Mills, who is a filmmaker, he commented recently on his Facebook page about the new Scooby-Doo series that's out.
Yes, there's a new cartoon out.
And I guess Scooby-Doo's not even in it. It's like a prequel.
It's supposed to be focusing on Velma?
Yeah.
I think.
And
I don't know. I don't know much about it.
I can't even paraphrase, but the gist of what he wrote on like one of his Facebook posts was that, why, and it's like things I've said too about, like, why are you reinventing something that doesn't need to be reinvented? It's fine on its own. If you're going to do something, make something new up. And he points out Psycho Gorman, which I wasn't a fan of, but I understand what he was saying. It took elements of all these 90s kids shows and stuff and things like that, and horror, and made its own thing out of it, instead of recycling something that didn't need to be recycled.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Okay, anyways.
What's the comments?
So, people are saying the Velma cartoon is the worst series ever made.
I heard really bad things about it.
Heard it's one of the worst shows ever.
Yeah. And it's not because the way they portray her, it's just, I hear it's like dirt, it's like filthy, and they have like
it's like not true to the Scooby-Doo stuff.
Canon, yeah,
like we obviously watch all kinds of things, and it is.
But I never understood. I mean, I know why they're doing it, because of the clout that the show has. It has collateral. I mean, they're going to bring people in right away.
They're going to go with whatever they think can bring them money, rather than try to do something original.
They play it safe.
So then they take a character from a cartoon, and then they like mess with it, and it's like, hey, let's do this other thing, and it didn't really need it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Albert, thank you for the $15 super
What?
chat. That's really sweet.
I have my barber
He
papa
says,
on
happy birthday, Grimm's alter ego.
Yes.
Next time you guys are in my hood, he
Yes.
wants to offer a shot of Tullamore Dew.
Tullamore Dew. Oh, that's a very mossy Irish whiskey. It's very good.
The Weird Al Yankovic story was amazing, says James Muscarella, and I agree.
Now there's something.
If you guys have a Roku box, do yourself a favor and go look on the Roku channel, and it's free to watch with commercials because he's got to make some money. Weird Al Yankovic's movie is up on the Roku channel on Roku, and it's
Beyond brilliant.
It's just brilliant.
Beyond brilliant.
Pure genius. It is amazing.
It's everything that you want this to be and more.
Everything I'd hoped and dreamed about. If you're a Weird Al fan and if you like cheesy comedy and just goofy humor, you're gonna absolutely love the Weird Al movie.
This guy has it all figured out. To me, he's a comedic genius. Besides being able to write really funny, oops, sorry, didn't mean to drop you, Jimmy. That's not good. Besides writing genius song parodies, okay, that when you think about it, anyone could have wrote these. They're not that, but he did it first, so you can't. He really got a good niche, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, the song "Bad and Fat." It's not that big of it. It's just funny.
Well, don't give too much. Yeah.
No, I'm not giving anything away. I'm
Okay,
talking about Weird Al in general.
Yeah.
But he is a genius because I remember seeing the when they started talking about Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter's gonna play. I'm like, what? And it took me a second. I didn't look at it the right way. And then when they go, oh my God, this guy's brilliant. He's brilliant.
Insane J says loves Weird Al. He's overdue for a new album. Yeah, I'd love to hear more music from Weird Al. I love most of his songs, like almost all of them. There's just a few that I'm like, where I don't think it's that good. But
every band has throwaways, but
I love a lot of his work.
His most brilliant song is the Blurred Lines parody about grammar.
Yes, that's really good.
Now that I don't think anybody could just write. That's a total different level of parody, and the guy's amazing. And anyone can play the accordion is pretty much up there in my book too, because I don't know how that thing works.
And Raymond says, I love Weird Al. I rewatched his movie UHF recently.
Now that's a weird
and it was
movie.
hilarious. I love UHF.
That is
a very underrated film. If you guys have not seen his first movie, UHF, from the 1980s, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty much he inherits a small TV station that no one seems to care about, and he
does his own thing.
Does his own thing, and it gets popularity, and he's competing with the big networks, and big corporate network guy is like trying to get rid of his TV station.
Sounds like the internet story.
Yeah, sounds like YouTubers trying to make it.
Yeah, I remember when a lot of people. I remember when YouTube came around, it almost went away because the streaming. They were way ahead of their time thinking about. They were like,
yeah.
Hey, you know what? Airwaves, what if we could do that with the internet? What if we could actually broadcast and have a hub where people can upload their own videos? And the streaming wasn't that good. The bit rates were bad. No one could ever get the connectivity.
New.
You had dial-up modems. But they stuck with it. I remember it kind of went away for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then it came back strong once the streaming got better.
John says, isn't Kramer from Seinfeld in that? Yes, he is. Yeah, Kramer's in that movie. Yeah.
In UHF?
In UHF, yes, he's in there. Yeah. Leo says, I actually saw Weird Al in concert with my niece and nephew. Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
that would be so fun.
If he comes around, we got to catch him.
If he comes back to Cleveland or in the area, we need to go see Weird Al.
We'll go venture out and see him.
Yeah, that sounds like that would be a great show.
He's on the bucket list. That would be one I'd like to see. It's weird, right? It's weird. It's Weird Al.
I love all the parody stuff. It's so fun.
He's the best.
Yes.
He owns that. Like, that's his thing.
Michael Richardson does a great job on UHF well. Richardson.
His name is Michael Richards.
Oh, well, someone wrote it
I know,
out.
I'm correcting that.
Oh, okay. Anyway, he did a great job on UHF as well.
If I'm wrong, then
I'm
I'm
reading
wrong.
Mark's comment.
I think it's Michael Richards.
Yes. Hobbs Horror says, woo, Ohio is for horror and Halloween.
Yes,
we love Halloween year-round, but we also love other pop culture aspects. So we like to talk about all kinds of different movies and shows.
Oh, my gosh.
So we were talking about movies that we've seen and shows that we've seen recently, Hobbs. Yeah. I think Hobbs is new to the Or
to
maybe,
the discussion.
Maybe he just, maybe he's new to the discussion.
Or the show.
No, he's got a wrench. He's a moderator.
Okay. I don't know. I can't.
He's
see.
new to the show.
I don't have
or
my.
new to right now.
I don't have my readers
maybe.
on. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
A Twinkie wiener sandwich.
Ooh. You're playing with fire right there.
John Biggins says, how was the Franklin Castle? It was great. We actually made a whole video about our review of it and what we thought of it, John. If you go on our channel, you could catch that vlog from like a week or so ago. But yeah, it was really great. They're having, if you go on thefranklincastle.com, they do have tours on certain days. They even have it where you could stay the night there. But most of this year is booked already. Right. Originally, we wanted to try to stay the night there. Yeah. But everything's booked for like the most of the year. There's just like a little bit in the summertime, I think, that was still open.
Yeah, it was an early birthday present for me. Thank you, Janet. It was really fun. It was something that, I would never think to do on my own. I would just never. I didn't even know that was a thing until they announced it on TV. I mean, it's a brand new thing they're doing. Because quite Franklin Castle-y, frankly, they I mean, very few people actually got to go in there and just to hang out or do whatever. I know they had Halloween parties there. The Ghoul was at a Halloween party there a bunch of years before he passed away.
Yeah, I think that's when, because the new owners, they've been doing renovations for a while. So, they had a lot that they had to like rebuild and try to restore.
And it was meticulous because the sort of the materials that they used are, they're expensive, and you had to find the right people that could actually craft those things. I think they ferreted some of it out to the Amish, some Amish
there were some
woodcrafters,
woodworkers that made some of the, to try to match it to the original. And
I believe that they even went to other countries to get stuff made or imported certain things they used. So it's a lot of work and a lot of money.
They're still working on parts of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
They even had one, because there were multiple fires that happened in that place, and one of the rooms in that hallway, they showed us one of the doors that were charred still. They didn't replace the wood. What they did was they preserved it, so it's still burnt black, the door and the frame. Everything else around it's been rehabbed.
You're going to schedule a tour and see it all for yourself in person.
It's crazy.
Then, and they didn't pay us to say that.
No.
We're just fans of it and really enjoyed it. And it'll help support the Haunted Mansion, the Franklin Castle.
And you learn a little bit about the tour guide's really cool.
Yeah.
He gives what I like what they did was how he put you in the mindset of the Victorians, that time period.
Yes.
The reason why they built houses the way they did. There were reasons for these things, stuff that you would never think of now.
So there's certain things that were built a certain way that are very quirky and different, and then they explain why, because it was the style of the time.
Not only a style, but it was their lifestyle.
It was their Victorian culture too.
Some of the things, the way the rooms were made, certain parts of certain rooms that you would just look at and go, oh, that's a cool circular area. Well, it was used for something. And hey, look, there's a little walkway that connects one room to another. Well, there's a reason for that. Hey, secret passages. There's a reason for that.
Yes. So you'll learn more when you actually go schedule a tour, and you'll be happy.
Yeah, because you see all this stuff in movies and things like that and never really think. And now we know why they did certain things. It wasn't to be sneaky necessarily. Well, it was in a way.
Well. But
not really. I don't want to give that much away.
Yeah. You've already,
No, I haven't given anything away. How many people are going to actually go see this?
Well, hopefully, if they're in the area,
then they'll go.
Okay.
That doesn't really.
All right. Well, let's continue on to the topics we were going to talk about, the movies and shows.
We're not any kind of schedule.
Well, I didn't say we were. I'm just saying let's go back to what we were talking about. Okay. So we also saw on Amazon Prime there was a weird documentary. Well, I'm not going to say weird.
It was weird because
it was kind of weird.
We thought it was going to be Discovery Channel or some kind of National Geographic thing. Mm-hmm. Nope.
No, it was actually
pretty messed up.
So it was a documentary called
Wildcat,
and it was about a young couple who they were trying to get animals that were in captivity that were rescued and try to get them to be wild again to release them back into like the rainforest
with no formal training.
Not really. The girl knew a lot about animals. The guy, I'm not sure.
Was she a vet?
It seemed like she had a lot of knowledge.
For some kind of zoology, right?
Yeah, and she actually has her own rescue place now.
But she wasn't the one that did the training.
So
the guy was.
So the guy that was doing the animal, he was working with her. They had a what's the cat?
Ocelot.
An ocelot, and they're trying to nurture it like as if they were an ocelot themselves, and try to train this baby ocelot to be a grown-up wild ocelot to release them back into the rainforest.
And the two that they had, they went through two of them. And they all came from, like, because they're doing that deforestation, right? They're tearing the rainforest.
Unfortunately, yeah, there's a lot of people tearing down parts of the rainforest.
So some people would come by, and that's how a lot of these animals become orphaned, because their parents are killed in these deforestation things that are going on projects. And so there are a lot of baby animals that survive, but they got nowhere to go. So that's where they get most of their animals.
So they rescue these baby animals, and they try to get them back into the wild in hopes that they can reacclimate to the wild. Well, because they're babies, most of the time they end up in zoos and in captivity the rest of their lives. They're trying to make sure they can live out their,
Right. So you're probably sitting there going, well, what's so bad about that? It sounds like every, time. No. The thing was, so the kid or the young man that was helping these animals, he was in Afghanistan. He was a British soldier.
Yes.
He looks like he's 10 years old in this thing. Okay?
He looks very young, he saw a lot for being a young person.
He's in his mid-20s, but he still looks very young.
So a good chunk of this documentary is he's trying to help these animals, but then he's also struggling with his own inner things going on with, like, depression and PTSD and stuff like that. So it's actually very...
And suicidal things, too.
So I'm thinking, we're going to watch a cute animal documentary, and it was actually a very serious documentary.
Well, because they show before, they have the disclaimer that this documentary deals with suicide and things like that. So it's like, what's it? Yeah, so when you get to... So this kid's trying to help... He loves animals, but he thinks his redemption is going to come if he can help get an animal to live like it should. And in a way, maybe he needs that too, because he's not living like he should.
Yeah, so he did end up saving one ocelot that went out into the wild, and I think after that he was able to move on with his life.
A bit,
A little bit, and go back to his family, because they were staying in the jungle for like 2 years.
You say the jungle, they're in Peru, right?
Well, it was in the middle of nowhere in the rainforest. Yeah.
5 hours
5 hours away from the nearest town.
Any type of civilization.
Yeah.
Like you're plopped in the middle of nowhere.
You've got like bugs, and you're out in the elements.
There's one scene where he's sitting there, and how he could just stand there when he was swarmed with those little bees. Like they were all over him.
Yeah, all these bugs were on him and stuff.
He's like, "There's bees out here." It's like, yeah, they're all over you. Like, what are you doing? His backpack was covered with them. I'm like,
oh my goodness.
He's just standing there all still. I'm like, no, not me.
Yeah.
But the kid was kind of in his element. I mean, he loved nature. He was picking up snakes and this and that. But it's very heart-wrenching, this
So we thought it was interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't just your normal Nat Geo little,
Yeah, it wasn't wildlife. The regular, like, Discovery Channel, here's the animals. No. It was, here's the animals, and also the people trying to help the animals are going through you're hearing their story.
And we're watching
So it was kind of neat.
We're watching this, I'm like, you couldn't spend, I don't think I could either. Like, you look at these people are out there for months at a time, living in, it's like taking a penguin and putting it in a desert. Like, all right. How do you do that?
Well, there's a ton of comments.
Okay, go ahead, please.
So, people are saying they liked that 90s show.
That's a new thing that just came out.
It's a new one that came out. Actually, they did make a 90s show. Or no, was it that 80s show?
That 70s show.
No. There was that 70s show, but then that 70s show for a while was really popular. Yep. So then they tried to do a spin-off, and I think they did like that 80s show.
Never watched any of them.
And it didn't really take off.
Yeah.
But I think they did it too soon, because it was like in the early aughts, like around the Y2K stuff.
I just never a fan of Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher, you mean?
That's what I said.
Oh, okay. Albert, Janet and Grimm, didn't Yashu have a show kind of similar to what you're describing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Flamingo King.
Oh, yeah, yes, and he might make a comeback. I was thinking about doing that for the YouTube short.
And Tim Bennett goes, and I'm sure everyone has watched Wednesday. You know what? We haven't watched the Wednesday series yet. I think it might be Netflix.
Well, okay, I think it is.
Have you guys
or
watched
Disney,
Wednesday?
Or is it Disney?
No, I think it's Netflix. Have you guys watched the Wednesday series, and what do you think of it?
You would think we would have, but we're so behind.
We are.
But I'd like to watch it. I hear it's good.
I'd like to see it at some point. Yeah. John says, saw the Megan movie. Every human in it is obnoxious, but the doll is really cool and really creepy.
It's like doll woke, you know.
Sounds like a typical horror film where the people are annoying, but the monster or the creepy thing is kind of cool.
It looks like the Bad Seed or something like that, but it's robotic Bad Seed.
Yeah, she's like this android robotic doll thing.
Yeah, an AI.
She does
it's
look
artificial
creepy.
intelligence.
Yeah, she does look creepy.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I like creepy doll movies.
And Kirk says, OMG, Wednesday is amazing.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, we'll have to see it.
Well, we were thinking about getting Netflix for that new Eddie Murphy movie and Jonah Hill movie, Those People.
Oh, that looks funny, too.
Which is,
it's a comedy,
It's Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, or Look Who's Coming to Dinner.
Yeah, it's like a modern version of
but
that.
modernized, right.
Yeah, it looks cute.
They flip the races and actually have a Jewish guy that falls over the black woman. Where, Guess Who's...
MummyAndMonkey wants to see
Coming
that
to
movie.
Dinner. Oh, yeah, and you've never seen Guess Who's Coming.
I never saw it. I've heard of it, but never saw it.
Yes, with Sidney Poitier and
Yes,
Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn.
Ooh, all wonderful actors.
It's a great... It's still...
Yeah.
And you know what? They remade that movie because there's, and we won't get into it here obviously on this show, but but people still have issues with
stuff
stuff like that.
There's still a need for it, and it's nice to add the comedy twist to it.
Yeah, when I hear the years roll by, it's like 2023, the future. No, it's not. Every year that comes by, I'm waiting for that Star Trek sort of culture where nobody looks at anybody different because they're blue or black or red.
You're an Earthling.
Yeah.
You're an Earthling.
Well, they go into different...
Because they had the Earthlings, the Romulans, the different,
It's like that Reagan speech. What would we do if we had to all band together and fight a scourge from outer space? It's like, yeah, we're all human, aren't we?
We're all Earthlings.
Earthlings.
Anyways. Okay, so what else did we watch? We watched Son of Dracula.
Oh, yeah.
What channel did we watch that on?
YouTube.
Oh, Tubi. It was on Tubi. So there's a lot of cool old... Well, not all of them are cool. This one was okay. It was an okay movie.
It wasn't good. It was better than
didn't think it was
Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman.
Oh, way better than that.
Which is a horrible movie.
Yeah, way better than that.
I think Universal blew their load on the core monster movies, the core monsters.
Yeah.
All those movies are great. Creature, Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, The Mummy, Invisible Man. Those are Phantom of the Opera even before all that. All good stuff. And then they tried to do these weird, or they're not weird, but let's do some sequels, and they just blew. A couple of the Frankenstein movies are good, but all the other ones.
Well, Son of Dracula was okay.
Oh,
it was
I fell
okay.
asleep. You were like,
you fell asleep. I'm watching it, and I'm like, parts of it were kind of bad, but I wanted to like it. And I saw it once a long time ago, but I saw it was on Tubi, and I'm like, oh, let's watch that. I haven't seen that forever.
What's wrong with me for not watching these all day? And it's like, oh, now I know why. Maybe it was subliminal. It wasn't that. That's why no one's yelling about them. They always go to the core, first movie.
The first run of the monsters are always the better ones.
And quite frankly, in my opinion, I like the Hammer mummy movies more than I like the Doors.
And it's funny you say Hammer because Mark also brought up Hammer. He goes, the Hammer production of Brides of Dracula is very good.
A totally different thing. They took that stuff up a level,
And then Albert says, love the Irish Vampire in Preacher.
Oh, that's the TV show.
I haven't seen
based
that.
on the comics, the DC Vertigo comics.
I haven't seen that yet.
I have the first season laying around. We got to watch it.
Cool.
I'd love to watch it. But yeah, I don't know. Hammer totally. That's the cool thing about what Hammer did. The British, films, horror films, is they took things a different level. I mean, they had nudity, a lot of blood, and obviously they were in color, so you got to see the crimson.
Yeah, it was very vivid color where the blood looked really bright, like paint.
And they didn't
poster paint or something.
They didn't rip Universal off. They didn't make a cheap copy.
They had their own style, and I like the costumes and the set design.
Oh, the air around that. I mean, even
it just had a really cool vibe about a lot of those films.
And they did they did the Gorgon, which is a different monster than Universal. It was the Medusa type of thing that would turn you to stone.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some really weird offshoot
cool.
stuff. I loved those things. But yeah, they never did a Creature from the Black Lagoon, but you know, they didn't have the Black Lagoon over there. I don't know.
Yeah, so I actually want to re-watch all of the Hammer films and maybe
those are good.
find them on DVD or get them from the library or something, because I don't think we have all of them. We
Those-
may have a few here around the Erie Cemetery.
And my own memories of Hammer, what reminds me when I watch those, it reminds me of Saturday afternoons on Channel 43 here in Cleveland. They would show movies like that, like, you know, even after Superhost. I mean,
Oh yeah, a lot of the
like
TV stations would play
in
those.
the evening. They would show Hammer horror movies on a Saturday. It was
Yes.
loved them.
Let's see. David Phillips, I saw Kiss of the Vampire thanks to Sven Gulli last Saturday and really liked it. Never seen it before in memory.
I mean, all these titles run together. I have to jog my memory on that
He
one.
says in Cleveland, Sven Gulli's on channel 987 on Spectrum.
Woo!
Yeah. Watched Curse of Frankenstein starring Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee last weekend, says Gary. Cool. The Hammer films were very good, says Toy Painter 1. I'm just going through here looking at comments. We'll probably wrap this up in a little bit.
Tongue Punch of the Vampire. I never saw that one.
Jeez.
Let's see, what is it?
My husband and I just started watching Preacher, says Lois. It's very good and pretty funny, too, plus violence. Good horror and action comedy. Cool.
Yeah, you know, I hear a lot of people, like, there's some people having an issue with that. Now, it seems like Marvel opened that door, which I love. I like most of the Marvel stuff, okay?
Yeah.
I love their movies. They've definitely got the superhero thing down. But I think they opened that door to the sort of tongue-in-cheek comic thing with everything. It's like all these studios now, everything's kind of funny, slapsticky, you know, goofy comment stuff. It's
Yeah,
like,
where they add a little bit of humor here and there.
but almost just becomes everything.
not-
It just becomes
Not all of it
the
needs
style
that.
of it. No, I like some dark stuff too. You know, you know, you don't have to. You know, like the Punisher. You know, the Marvel adaptation of it, or not adaptation, but the newer one. You know, that they had on their their streaming service on Netflix was great. You know, I love the John Barenthal, his character Frank Castle, the best Frank Castle, the best Punisher in my book. You know. All the other versions, like Dolph Lundgren, not so great, and Thomas, whatever his name is, kind of.
Oh, that Punisher series is brutal.
The wimpy, yeah, and
It's
right.
really
There's no jokes in
brutal.
that.
Like, holy crap,
I loved
it's
it.
brutal.
That's why I loved it. And
There's
so,
some fight scenes in there where, I've seen a lot of gory movies. I've seen actual films where they show real bodies, and the Punisher, that series, I had to look away for some parts. I'm like, holy crap,
the scene
because
where,
it looked real.
where he
I'm
goes
like,
where he
ugh.
goes to prison,
Yeah.
and the Kingpin, who's in prison, tries to have Frank Castle murdered for not listening to him. Whatever. That's his superpower. He doesn't have any powers, but he just kills people. He's good at it.
Oh man,
Even though
it's
he gets all
really
stabbed, but-
like it's good, but it's like messed
Yeah,
up.
it's all real.
So
like,
if you're a little squeamish to like fighting and violence, it's like look away.
no, but it is just pretend, just like
It is pretend.
just
yeah.
like
It's all
Looney Tunes
special
were pretend,
effects.
and that's what's funny about all that. Because I remember when they took like the violence out of Looney Tunes cartoons because they thought people were gonna, I don't know, stick a dynamite in someone's underwear and kick them off a cliff. I don't know what they were thinking.
Or chase the Roadrunner.
Yeah, they did, but they took a lot of the violence out of these, but that's a cartoon because they thought kids couldn't figure out the difference. But now,
It's
I don't know.
Anyway.
What are you gonna do? I mean, if
let's
you
read
can't-
some more
there's
comments.
something wrong with you.
I like the Vincent Price movie The Raven, 1963, with Peter
yes.
Lorre and Boris Karloff. It's a funny movie, says Bobby. Yeah, that's
really
a great
funny.
movie.
It's got that good balance of horror and comedy.
Yes, it's like a little bit, and it's good.
Oh,
Yeah.
My favorite one like
Good
that
blend.
is Dr. Fives, The Abominable Dr.
Oh,
Fives.
that's a wonderful film.
That first movie is brilliant.
Great,
It's so
like
weird.
great. It's just very strange.
Style is beautiful.
But
It's
yeah,
like this Art Deco
Such
20s
a unique
type of thing.
style.
And then just it's just a weird movie. If you never saw The Abominable Dr. Fives with Vincent Price, do yourself a big flavor and
That's a
check
good
the
one.
first one. There's two of them. The second one's okay too, but that first one is crazy.
Yes.
All kinds of different ways.
Very cool, guys. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this up. I think I'm running out of steam here.
You're not doing this. Wrap it up.
We're gonna wrap things up.
But always
See,
good. Now, is there anything in the chat that we could,
happy
address?
birthday, Grim says.
Thank
James
you.
Ray says, Wiki Svengoolie showed The Raven a couple weeks ago. Okay,
He
so they're
gets to
talking
show all
back
that
and
good
forth.
stuff.
Lois says, I love Dr. Five's movies.
Oh, they're so good.
Dr. Five's films are outstanding, says Mark.
They're amazing.
Leo says, I just watched The Raven a couple weeks ago.
The Ravens are big. We got to check that out. It's been a while. I haven't seen
Hammer
it.
films, didn't mean to cut you off there. Hammer films have a lot of atmosphere.
They do. They're very atmospheric.
Yes, they do.
Not because they're just shot over in, overseas in England. Probably at Pinewood Studios where they shot Star Wars. I think they actually shot a lot of stuff at Pinewood. But yeah, they are totally atmospheric. I mean, real castles and everything.
Yeah.
I think they shoot at.
And Jennifer Delaney says, night guys, just wanted to say happy birthday to my favorite monkey man, Grim. Thank you, Jennifer. Good night.
Means a lot to me, Jennifer. Thank you. Night, night.
Netflix Marvel was great for it being dark.
Yes.
Very
Well,
brutal.
Punisher and Daredevil is pretty dark too.
Yeah, now with Disney owning Marvel, I don't know if they're going to go in that direction anymore.
They've not done a bad job. I mean,
But they've done pretty good. They've done pretty
as
good.
long as it's entertaining. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be blood and guts all the time. But the Punisher was one of those properties where they didn't know what to do, and even Deadpool, it's like, what? Disney. I mean, God, they wouldn't make those same Deadpool movies. Those movies were hardcore and funny. But,
Oh, I love Deadpool.
and I've only seen each of those movies once, and I remember all of it. I need to watch them again.
Yeah.
But that's how good they were.
All right, so yeah, there's definitely more films and shows we still need to see. I would still like to watch
please.
Wednesday, and
We're gonna Netflix. We'll get Netflix this weekend. We'll
get
have
it
fun.
again. Yeah,
This is good.
we got rid of Netflix last year, but we'll bring
to
it
save
back.
$10 a month. Ooh.
Well, that's like $100 something a year, and at the time when we got rid of it, there were only like a few things we were watching.
That's
So
true. Now
it
they
wasn't
loaded it
that
up.
big of a deal for me at the time.
I
So
know.
we could bring it back for a few months, then get rid of it again after we watch everything.
Yeah, Netflix, take that. No, I'm just kidding. No, we'll see.
Pretty much. Or wait until the library has
We
it.
always wait till they come on DVD.
Yeah,
And
get
like-
the DVD, physical media.
Borrow them from the
So then it can sit on your shelf and collect dust.
Or just when you borrow it from the library, it sits on their shelf and not yours.
Yeah, there you go.
Collects dust.
All right, gang.
Good
Well,
stuff.
thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for chiming in.
Can I really quick say something I'm watching?
Sure.
So I think it's only 4 seasons, but I've been binge watching as I'm working, the show Killing Eve, which I'm liking. At first I wasn't sure, but it's interesting. It's a psychopathic Russian hit woman who's falling in love with an FBI agent or a MI6 agent,
Okay.
played by Sandra Ho, who was in Grey's Anatomy. I think
Oh, yes. I remember
And,
her. Yep.
Yeah, and she's like trying to find this girl and who this assassin is, and then they wind up falling in love. It's kind of weird, but they're not even there yet. It's like this really weird. I know it's like
Alrighty
the ultimate sexual tension. It's crazy, but I like it not because of that, but
All
But
right.
it's wild though. It's funny, and bloody too, and barbaric.
Oh,
But anyway,
okay.
it's all that wrapped into one.
So ladies fighting people and
Fighting people? No, she's a
Spies
murderer.
or
She's a psychopathic
murderers? Okay.
hit woman who doesn't just. and
so
she
women
doesn't
who
just-
fall in love and then they kill people?
Well,
Is that
not
what the show
together
is
yet.
about?
They're not a couple yet, but
Oh,
I think
okay.
they're working towards that.
Huh.
I think
alrighty.
there's only 4 seasons. I don't know, but anyway, I'm on season 3.
And it's called Killing Eve.
Killing Eve. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
Well, on that note, thank you guys again. If you like these kind of videos, hit the thumbs up. We do appreciate you. And good night. Stay safe out there. Good night. Good fright. Mwah.
Mwah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.